I'm really glad to see the interest in the project here. So let's take a look at the software that I wrote to test all the modules out. To begin with, I wrote an overly complicated menu system, highly configurable. You can actually have options within here that are a ton on the screen, and you can hop around from different options on the screen in some very complex menu setups. But for now, we'll just start at the top and go at look at the display. Under display, I can look at just simply a dump of all the regular ASCII characters, or I can pull up a list of extended ASCII characters. These are like Chinese symbols. I think this is also customizable, though. I haven't played with that yet. And then also, if you're interested in generating ASCII key code, like what the ASCII number is for a specific thing, I've got that set up as well. Let's talk about the keyboard option. I really like this one because I get some instructions there, and then I get a graphical interface of essentially the 3x4 layout. And so whenever I press a key, it lights up the subsequent place. But also, you'll notice this debounce count here as well. If there's any shorts or anything like that, that will show up by kind of some kind of jitter. Yeah, so it just kind of just lets me know that it holds contact really well with the switch. Let's talk about the knob testing portion of my software here. So if I select knob, there's the instructions. If I do a simple rotate of the knob, it gives me a count and shows essentially how many clicks and in what direction. Pretty clever. And then this knob also can be pushed, and so that little XO will change. And then an interesting quirk is if you twist the knob really quick, it actually moves backwards in a negative direction sometimes. So I'll do slow and then kind of fast, and then you'll see. So this bar, I've got it essentially programmed to just kind of show me the health of it moving in either a positive direction or a negative direction. And so, but that was just one of the things. It just seems to be a quirk of the of this type of knob. Let's talk about the speaker section of my test software. Just FYI, I didn't know I was partially deaf until I developed this. True story, actually. So under speaker, I can do a quick test and hit go. Okay, but I can also do something a little more complicated than that as well. I can actually do a frequency test. And so, and again, part of this really complex menu system that I wrote, and again, it's 2,000 lines of code, 2,300 lines of code in here, and a lot of it is just on the menu system. But for here, part of the menu system actually lets me type in numbers. So I don't know what a good range is. I'll type 2,000, enter, and then do that. There we go, and then just go. Okay, so now let's talk about how I test Bluetooth. This is probably my favorite test of all. I can do a basic test that just lets me know that it can communicate. It can send basic AT commands to the Bluetooth module. So that's nice. I can also program brand new modules. I just call this Arduino Handheld. That's the Bluetooth name that I advertise. I can look at the existing module settings. I can reset it to factory defaults. But the coolest part I'm actually going to put in the second video. So this has got to be my favorite part of the test software that I wrote here, period. So this is the Bluetooth section where I wrote a server called Connect to Me, and I essentially start a Bluetooth server. And so what I can do is take an iPad. I can hopefully find my server, and then I can send it an initial init command, and then I get some basic instructions on how to use it. And then whenever I essentially type stuff into here, it gets decoded, sent, and decoded here. Whoops. And then also whenever I type here, it actually shows up as buttons and things that I'm pressing there. I thought that was pretty slick. So the Wi-Fi portion of the test software wound up being way more difficult than I thought it should be, but there it is. So I'm going to start essentially the ESP8266 that I have inside. It's going to be in AP mode, so whenever I start the server, it's going to give me some simple instructions to connect to this ESSID, and I can connect to it. I can connect to the Arduino Handheld, actually directly to the ESP8266 chip that's running Arduino that is connected to an Arduino Mega. So I can take my iPad, it actually connected automatic, but I've reconnected and I've reattached to the server that's running on the Arduino Handheld, and then I can do things like just send a heartbeat. And then I can do this. I wanted to do an R2D2 scream, but I didn't quite have time.